What's going on, everybody? Kramer back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should be a loose aggressive poker player. What are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, how do you become a loose aggressive poker player, and what I did to become a loose aggressive poker player, given the right table. So I'm going to talk about that right now. So first of all, I think it's important to say, kind of give an overview of what being loose aggressive looks like. So generally speaking, in my opinion, there are only two ways to be a loose aggressive player, and this is you have to be either a donk or a maniac, which we've all seen those. We love to play with them. Or the second one is you simply know what to do in so many spots and you understand your stakes so well that you can profitably play a ton of hands because you have been in these situations many times more than the average player. So you can, get really thin value, or you can bluff people off of hands, for example. So when it comes to advantages of being a loose aggressive player, if you truly are able to constantly outplay people, your range is going to be very wide, which you can make it serve you in a beneficial way, and therefore this will be the most profitable. So you can value bet thin, you can call people down thin, and you can just play big pots with mediocre hands. And again, provided you're better than people, this will be very profitable. Another advantage is that your range is unpredictable, which means you can steal lots of pots. Of course, I kind of just said that, but basically, when no one knows what you have and you can represent so many hands and you can do so credibly, people will be forced to fold or go all in, and oftentimes people aren't confident enough in their poker abilities to just go all in with mediocre hands. So certainly there are some disadvantages to this, and I'm going to talk about those. But really quickly, I just wanted to ask, if you are enjoying this video and you enjoy my channel in general, I would appreciate if you dropped a like. It's very helpful for the algorithm, and I really appreciate it when you guys do that. So, the disadvantages. So if you see this video or you see some other videos saying like, oh, loose aggressive is the way to go, and you just start doing it, well, now you just have the opportunity to lose tons of pots. Whereas before, even if you were kind of a bad player, at least if you had a tight range, you had a better chance of winning pots. But if you just have a really wide range, you're playing tons of hands, trying to outplay people all the time, you're going to lose a lot of money really quickly that you wouldn't otherwise be losing. So here's another disadvantage. People will constantly put you in tough spots when they play back at you because, all sorts of poker players are different, and some of them will play back. And you have to constantly be outplaying people and understand what level they're thinking on in order to make this profitable. Because, at some point, you might be able to run over the table for a few hands, a few orbits even, but at some point people start playing back with mediocre hands because they're catching on. They see what you're up to. So again, this is why I emphasize you really have to be able to outplay people constantly. Lastly, your ranges get way less respect. So, this isn't a huge disadvantage, but let's say you finally do pick up aces. Now you're more likely to get called down by, not so great hands, and sometimes you'll get drawn out on. But of course, if you sign up for this life, that's fine. You can take that if you get drawn out on here and there. That's just part of poker anyway. So now I'm going to talk about how I integrated becoming a loose aggressive player. I'm not always a loose aggressive player. I have to really feel confident at the table, which is why I'm saying what I'm saying, and I emphasize outplaying so much. Being loose aggressive is not about shoving all your chips in the middle at random times. It's about being a calculated loose aggressive player. And so I'm going to talk about that right now. So the first step in becoming a loose aggressive player is not being a loose aggressive player. It's going to start with being a tight player. And the reason I emphasize this is because I really want to make it clear that you don't just start playing as a loose aggressive player. You have to start with playing tight, and you have to make sure you understand your stake that you're playing at. So the reason I'm saying this is because I've been playing at 25 NL as opposed to 10 NL, which is what I've been playing in the past. And I didn't just start playing loose aggressive right away. In fact, I started playing tight and even passive in some spots. So I went from loose aggressive to tight passive in some spots, and then as I get more and more experience at the stake, understand what people like to do and don't like to do, I will slowly transition into a loose aggressive player again. So the point is, you have to start by playing tight. The next step is that you have to begin experimenting in spots that you recognize. Now, I talked about this in my poker improvement video, and I still stand by what I said when I say you want to allow yourself to improve naturally at poker. This is a natural process, in my opinion, that will just happen as you gain more experience and you get better at poker. So what I want you to do is you start experimenting in these spots that you recognize, and you're going to start making new plays. So for example, you might start overbetting. I made a video on that as well. Or you might start check raising more often. And what you want to do is you want to, obviously you want to succeed, and you have a good reason to succeed. But if you fail, you have to go down the rabbit hole and figure out why you failed. What was wrong with your thinking? And once you find that out, you'll be more prepared for that situation again. And if you succeed, well, you just keep doing this process. You keep experimenting in new spots. Just because you figure out some spots doesn't mean that you get to start playing loose aggressive now and have a 35 VP. I really don't recommend that. So the last point is, of course, something I've kind of been getting at this whole time, is as you figure out more and more spots, you gradually become a loose aggressive player. This is not just some uninformed decision that you make based on a whim, based on watching a video, based on watching Tom Dwan play. If you do that, you will be the donkey at the table. You will be giving your money away, even if you win some hands. You have to be a very good poker player to profitably play loose aggressive, and also you have to be much better than the opponents you're playing against. So that wraps up the video. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And also be sure to check the description below for relevant links. I have some helpful links for beating the micros, as well as some affiliate links if you wanted to support the channel. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.